The views and opinions expressed on Betrayal, Why Did They Snap? Are those of the hosts and guests and are provided for educational, informational, and discussion purposes only. This program discusses real court cases, public news stories, and documented events as reported by reputable media sources. We do not claim to know the private thoughts, motives, mental health diagnosis, or intent of any individual unless such information has been formally established in public records or court findings. Nothing discussed on this show should be construed as legal advice, medical advice, psychological diagnosis, or professional counseling. Listeners are encouraged to seek qualified legal, medical, or mental health professionals for guidance related to their specific circumstances. While we strive for accuracy, information may evolve as cases progress, and we encourage listeners to verify facts independently. The hosts do not assert guilt, innocence, or liability beyond what has been publicly reported or adjudicated. This program is not intended to defame, harass, or harm any individual. Any commentary is focused on behaviors, patterns, and publicly known events, not personal attacks. Listener discretion is advised, as this show may include discussions of trauma, violence, betrayal, and criminal behavior.
Hi, everyone. My name's Laurie McDermott, and I am known as the Wife Expert. You can find me at thewifeexpert.com. And Trina, and she's coming on in 2 seconds. Trina, tell us about yourself.
Hey guys, this is Trina Laird. I'm the creator and host of Midlife Crisis, Bomb Drop and Beyond. We're now in our second season. A lot of you know me from there. But on this new show, Laurie and I are going to be talking about betrayal in all kinds of ways, unmasking betrayals by folks that people that snapped, that
People
you
that
would think
are
would never snap.
people that are crazy. So most people think betrayal is between a husband and a wife and a husband, or a relationship. But it's also between a workplace, maybe your neighbor, maybe someone in your family. People betray each other all the time. You can't even turn on the news without hearing about someone betraying someone else. And this show is about peeling back the little cover on it and going, why did they snap? What did they do? What happened? What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It goes back to Adam and Eve. There was
Tell me
betrayal,
about
right?
Adam and Eve. In case someone's like, who? Who are they? A nice
Well,
couple?
you tell the story of Adam and Eve. I'll probably tell it wrong. You tell the story of Adam and Eve. But it started that. I mean, that's why betrayal goes back to that. And actually, Jesus and Judas, betrayals go way back.
It's constant. You have a family of people together, sooner or later, someone's going to go, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to the dark side and sneak and do this. That happens all the time. So the story of Adam and Eve, it's so old, people say, it's just fake. Is it? Because it's really true today. It's the same story repeated over and over again that deeply hurt people. Out of everything that you can be hurt for or from in your life, a betrayal kills you. So that's a betrayal between a husband and a wife. I think that's the worst, even if you compare it to friends or coworkers. Okay, so Adam and Eve. So they're in the garden, they're hanging out. They were told, do not touch the tree of wisdom. There's fruit hanging on it. Don't touch them. Don't touch the fruit. And so they're living their life. And they said, they were told, if you touch the fruit, bad things will happen. And so they ignored it. And sure enough, the snake comes along and he says, go ahead and take the fruit. You deserve it. You can be just as smart as God. You can take the fruit and be just as wise. And Eve's like, oh, I can? And she goes to do it. And he's pushing her along and pushing her along. And she does. She takes a bite. She goes to Adam and says, take a bite. And then next thing you know, so weird, I was reading this thing at church and it was the exact same topic about this just a week ago, just before Trina and I started this. So in that moment, God asked Adam, why are you naked? Because they've been naked the whole time. Adam and Eve were always naked in the garden, but they didn't feel it. Once they ate the apple, they were stripped and they were embarrassed and they hid. And so when you find that out, they have to leave the garden. And that's what happens when there's a betrayal in a marriage. When someone cheats, they are out in the wilderness on their own. Even if they've done it with another person, that person's out there with them too. How's that for a story? What do you think
Betrayal
about
is.
that? What do you think about that story portraying today in Betrayal?
It just shows you evil's out there, tempting everybody on every corner.
And what do we do about it? That's the question. That is what this show is going to uncover. What do we do about betrayal? Because people, it's going to happen to you. Some's going to go wrong. Someone's going to take your idea and ruin it and run with it, and we'll tell you what to do about that. Somebody at work or your neighbor is going to, not invite you to a party and say they were supposed to take you. People betray each other all the time. And what you're going to do about it is what we're going to teach you here. Or we're at least going to uncover it so you can see, like, holy crap, that happened. We're going to follow stories. And I think, Trina, do you have a list? Did you keep a list of all the
I
stories
do
we're
have
going
a
to
story.
talk about?
And also, we're going to hopefully give some advice as to how they can not fall victim to betraying somebody else,
Yeah, that's good too.
because
How to stay out of that, right?
there's always that little, when we talk to people in midlife crisis and they say, oh, but there was like an angel on my shoulder and a devil on the other shoulder, and they're hearing both sides. And you really want to listen to the right side. You really want to be able to say, get off my shoulder, and do the right thing. It's hard to do
Great
the right
question.
thing.
Right.
It
And
is,
that,
it's
yeah.
really so hard to do the right thing.
And what you said is so important, right, though, because you got two things on your shoulder. There's a scene from this in Animal House long ago, but those
Oh,
two things
yeah.
are on your
With
shoulder,
John
right?
Belushi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's a great scene. And I don't want to say it because I don't know if you can swear, but one says, F her. And the other one's like, no, don't do that. She's an angel. So it's so imperative to what we're talking about. But sometimes you can't tell, is this the devil or is this the devil? Is this God talking to me? Is this the angel? It's hard to tell. So Trina and I are going to help you figure that out as we go along.
That's true because, serpents dress nicely, and serial killers, rapists, they don't have a big R on their forehead. Some of the nicest people in the world that you'll ever meet come across as the most charming, the most trustworthy, the ones you really want as your friend, and they're the ones that could stab you in the back the worst ever.
Just today, just before we had this call, I was on a call with a woman whose husband is going to a Christmas party tonight with Horseface. He's a plastic surgeon, and he's bringing his new girlfriend, who is half his age, who has tattoos on her face. And, it's a hospital setting, right? Where everyone's clean. And the wife and I are worried that he might destroy his career because now people are going to look at him and go, oh no, like you bit the apple. Clearly, we see you bit the apple because who the hell is that? And where's your wife of 30 years? So that's why if anyone says, like, why did Laurie laugh when she was talking about rapists? It's because I had that thought of what happened on that earlier call. Because
Wow.
to him, she's the best looking, beautiful woman in the whole planet. And he sees her as that. And that's where the lies come in.
Yep.
And we're going to
Exactly.
uncover that.
Yeah, and the stories like that are heartbreaking. And yeah, just some recent things. Okay, the most recent betrayal. Well, I turn on the morning news, and it's all about the Coldplay thing and how she went public with that. You know,
Who's
and
she?
Kristen Cabot, I think.
And she was what? She was
She
the
was the
girl who was
HR
held?
manager from she worked at Astronomer, and, she just, I haven't read her story yet, but she told her story in the New York Times, and so we'll have to check that out. But, on the Today Show, they mentioned that she says now she's unemployable because of what happened. Um,
Is she sad?
I don't know, I don't know, but
I'm
you
being
know what?
funny.
I would love to have Kristen come on our show and talk about what she was told by her boss that I haven't read the story, but my understanding is that she was told they were separated, and she was apparently separated, and she didn't feel like she was breaking up a family.
So
And a
let's
lot of
play devil's advocate.
uh-huh,
Let's play devil's advocate. If she wasn't afraid to be seen because she's not doing anything wrong, he was separated, she was separated, they've got nothing to fear. Why
mhm.
did she duck?
Yeah, I haven't read the story, but I would say maybe because she works maybe because they work together, maybe that reason,
Maybe.
but
You
maybe.
you really wanna interview her? I'm curious. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Hey,
Mm.
here is a message to the world. If you are somebody's affair partner, we would love to talk to you because seriously, yeah, we need to know their perspective. And I have a new idea here. Well, it's not a new idea, but I think if you're in a situation that if somebody's telling you, "Oh, my spouse and I are separated," or "We're just roommates," you know what? Go reach out to that person and make sure because we hear that excuse all the time. We hear it all the
Mhm.
time. If I had $1 for every time I was told that, I'd be living in Bali right now on a beach, packed
Wait,
room.
so
I'd
you've
be
heard men tell that to you?
all the time.
You've
Well,
heard
no, I mean, not me personally. A few times, yes, me personally, but yeah. I mean, you hear that a lot. A lot of people say, "Oh, I didn't break up their marriage. They've been roommates for years. They were waiting till the kids got out of college," or there's always those excuses. And you know what?
that's the lie. That's
That's
the
the
lie that
lie,
they're
people.
told.
If somebody's telling you that, go check it out. Don't just take somebody at face value. I had a situation like that. Thinking here we are booking European vacations, going on vacation together, just had her first grandchild. It was total news to me. And it would have been nice if somebody had come to me and said, "Hey, he's saying stuff like this." And the rug was pulled out from under me. That's what caused me to start a whole podcast and to try to help other people that have had the rug pulled out from under them. But yeah, so if somebody's telling you that, go to that source. You don't know what people are saying about you when they're trying to work on their own agenda, you know? And it's
Mhm.
people to not be as trusting as I was, that's for sure, And trust your intuition, that's another
Well,
thing.
yeah, and when someone starts telling you about what's happening in their marriage that you can't see,
Mhm,
and lots of guys will come up to a woman at a bar and be like, "My wife and I are separated," or, "She doesn't understand me," or, "We've been roommates for years." The wife doesn't know that. She
that's
has no
right, the
idea
wife
you're
doesn't know
saying
that.
this. She thinks
Yeah,
you're great, everything's fine. And so,
exactly.
we as women, and maybe that's part of the show, and we're probably gonna form this as tighter as we go along. It's identifying that when a man tells you that, it's a line. It's like a pickup line. Be smarter, be wiser. Don't listen to that or investigate it or bring what's happening, talk to the company, here circle around his friends to find out, is that true? And if it's
Mhm,
not true, run to the hills. And if it I mean, the amount of people that I hear about just from my experience too, dealing with wives, is that horseface tells wife, he told me this story, and they believe it. It's the snake.
yep,
It's the serpent.
and it's so believable, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, so many stories of people living 2 lives or, I guess you call it double lives? Yeah, double life. You know that one thing on the Christmas party situation? Because I know who you're talking about, and I love
Oh,
that
yes, you do, because 'cause you're on a chat with me.
yeah, one of the other wives, said she wasn't going to that because she doesn't approve of him having I don't know what you call it, a fair partner, girlfriend. She doesn't approve of what happened with that poor family, the way it all went down and the
Yes.
betrayal,
Yeah, so
and she
yes.
refuses to go, and you know what? And that's the thing, when that Coldplay situation came out, everybody sided with the wife, and it just shows you that people do know the difference between right and wrong, and thank God we're
Amen.
still in a society that values right and values having a moral compass, and, I was reading on that Coldplay, I was reading something on Facebook this morning where, there were, like, 300 comments about the article, and so I didn't get through all 300, but the overwhelming amount of comments were, well, not in her favor, I'll just say. It's sorta sad for her, but, it's like, yeah, people, make the right choice because you make the wrong choice, 10 seconds, and it can affect your life forever, you know?
Consequences.
Consequences, yeah.
Choosing this path, choosing that path. There
Yeah,
are
don't
always
bite the
consequences
apple,
behind it.
people. Don't bite the apple.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. But going back to that friend,
Mhm.
the friend of ours that we're talking about, the woman who said, so the woman who had the affair partner today and the party that's happening, she has a coworker friend of hers who reached out to her and said, I'm not going to the party where your husband's bringing this new affair partner to. My husband and I aren't going. It has happened 2 or 3 more times. Other people are not going. Now, here's the deal. Is that going to stop the betrayal and the party from happening and other people not even noticing these other people didn't go? No, not at all. So in my case of doing this, I want to encourage that wife to encourage at least 1 or 2 people to go to represent goodness. Because if all the good people pull out, the devil has his party on his own. And is that okay? Of course. But having one person that's good is shining a light and saying, yeah, I see what's happening, but we're here and we're here to stay. That's my thought on it. What do you think?
Well,
You might have an
was like,
opposing thought. Let's
I
hear
would
it.
have somebody go just to take little photos of yeah. I was sort of manifesting that she'd have explosive diarrhea and get really sick, all
Of
kinds of
course.
stuff. I'm just like that.
Okay, so Trina, tell us, you and I have already kind of given like a highlight to what kind of shows we're going to be talking about in the future. Do you want to share that with everybody?
Yeah. And actually I was thinking, I had written down things like Alex Murdaugh, Scott Peterson, um, uh, the guy that killed Gabby Petito. I forgot his name because as I was doing that, I realized, you know what? It's enough with the criminal type, the ones that betrayed. I care about the victims. And so I'm like, no, we're going to talk about Maggie and Paul Murdaugh. They were killed by husband and the father. Lacey Peterson killed by her husband. And Gabby Petito. And these are all recent situations. Well, not Scott Peterson, but so many. And then you've also done all this research where we've got all these cases, and it's amazing because if you're a listener and you're in North Carolina, and a few other states where they still have, you can sue the affair partner for breaking up your marriage. There was this case. I know.
Sorry, I'm so excited about
darn
that.
it.
They should
We
have
don't
that
have-
in every state.
We don't
Every
have
state
this
should
law
have
in
that.
California.
Every state.
Dang. But
Let's
yeah.
change that. Trina, let's change that. Let's get that law in you. Can you imagine what divorce would be like in California if we got that law changed that someone could sue if you cheat?
You know what? Okay, here's an idea. Okay, you know who we need is the personal injury attorneys because they would get at least 30%. And if they could get some of these big settlements, okay, maybe that's where we need to start is getting somebody who cares from a monetary perspective on board. Because you and I are too busy podcasting to go to the
No,
courts.
but we're also really good at starting stuff and we're good at finishing
All
stuff.
right.
So all it takes is that. And
That's right.
there's too many people that get screwed. I've heard too many stories and I've been in front of too many women who've gotten nothing from their divorce. I don't want them to be divorced in the first place, as you know,
Mhm.
but if it
Mhm.
happens, we want people to be safe and we want them
Right.
to have a financial stability.
Right.
So, okay, keep going through your list.
So anyway, we've got Sanders versus Davis in North Carolina. This was in 2018, alienation of affection. This husband sued the man who had an affair with his wife, and he won $750,000 in damages. In Hutchinson versus Hurley in Illinois, and this was back in 2010, but it was for emotional distress. A husband hid a long-term affair, and he had a second family that he was hiding. His wife found out. She sued him for fraud. The court allowed it. That went through. And that's because courts sometimes treat marital
Wow.
betrayal as fraud, not just divorce grounds. So that's pretty cool. And then we've got another husband.
Don't you love that? Hold on. Wait, Trina, listen. Don't you love that? Don't you love that? Like,
Yeah.
That just makes my heart go,
right.
sing.
Right.
That is so
Because-
cool. I didn't read that part, but that's great.
And you know what? It is because, I just don't get the connection. You can go out, you can have a car accident and get a lot in damages from a stranger. You know what I mean? When there's a car accident, but yet you've got somebody you're married to and they betray you at the worst level because that is extreme trauma. And as a matter of fact, I'm getting a master's level certificate in trauma coaching because of what I've had to go through. And I've seen the effect it's had on me and my children and just the people around us that have like it's horrendous, the trauma that you go the effects on your health. But anyway, yeah, it just is not fair that somebody could do this to their spouse or partner and to their family and then not pay a dime, you know? So yeah, it's really good some of these states are still doing things like this. And you know what? It's great employment for PIs, attorneys, uh, everybody, you know. But yeah,
It
great.
makes my
Lord.
soul leap with joy. So let's not forget all the betrayal that
Mhm.
happens with, my situation of having somebody come into my program and copying it and then calling it their own. Those things do happen too. And protecting yourself and doing the right thing always matters, and not doing it with anger ever. It's always with love and just letting people go. Because once you start holding anger in your heart, things start to destroy you, and you don't want
That's
that to
true.
happen to you.
That's true. Um,
I, um,
and I mean, betrayal runs so deep, you guys. Here's some examples. A friend borrows money short term, then they disappear. They never pay you back. Someone convinces you to co-sign on a loan, then they stop paying. That's betrayal. Um, oh
so
yeah.
I was going to say, um, a child drains the parent's bank account while taking care of the parent when the other siblings live out of town.
Oh, yes,
There's one.
exactly. Yeah. And you know what? Finally, we have a name for that. Elder abuse,
Mm.
you know?
Isn't that hitting? Because I
Yeah.
think the abuse is, it's like you're sneakily because when that parent dies, all that money that should be split by 3 is going to that one child. Now, should that child get more money because they're staying with the parent? Of course, but that needs to come out and we need to talk about it
Yeah.
versus hiding and stealing and taking. And that happens sometimes. I've heard, because I'm taking care of my mom right now because she has cancer. People, doctors have warned me, be careful about who you let into the house to look after her when you're not here. Most of them will steal because the older people is not really aware of what's around them, and they might go, "Oh, look at this vase. Ooh, it's from from Japan or whatever," and they take it.
Yeah.
Those are the things. That's a betrayal.
Totally. And jewelry? Yeah. Those are all yeah, it's very scary. Get some cameras, Lori.
I know. I've thought about that. I'm not gonna get I use the cameras that my wives have, my student wives. They got the
Mhm.
little, "Ooh, this," they all show them like, "This is a pen, you set it here and it sees the whole room." So, those are fun, and when we figure out what those are, when we wanna promote them, we can put them on here too, so people
Okay.
can be sure that they're protected. Especially
Yeah.
because sometimes if you think there's a betrayal, like, if you think in your soul that this something's not right,
Oh, yeah.
listen to your
Trust
gut.
it. Trust
Yeah.
it. Yes. The body keeps the score. I swear to God, trust your intuition. It really
Mhm.
is there for a reason, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
we've got business partners that skim profits, hide revenue, steal your ideas, um, uh, to start competing businesses with somebody's idea. Embezzlement, contractors that take payment and then abandon the job, financial advisors that push self-serving or high-fee products to line their to line their pockets, you know? And then you've got employers that withhold wages or commissions, companies promising bonuses or equity that never materializes. Um,
What do you do?
and what do you
Like,
do?
the point is, what do you do about this? How do you move forward? How do you act? How do you approach these people? How do you demand to get what should have been yours? And, if it's with a spouse, that's totally different versus someone at a company because they're going to squeeze you out of your rights. And you and I are going to talk about these things one
Oh,
by
yeah.
one, picking a topic. Our show is going to be around 30 minutes. And so you get just enough, and then you can get out and go on with your day. We're going to feed you information. We're also going to feed you how to deal with it in your soul, how to move forward, and how to feel okay, and how to trust that your intuition will tell you when something bad's going on. Just kidding.
And then, this really hurts deep, I think, when people are gaslit by somebody, and that person, creates it causes them to become dependent on them. They exploit that victim. I'll call them a victim. They become a survivor, but in the moment it's happening, they're, a victim mentality. Threats and intimidation. And then so many betrayers use shame to silence their victims. And if somebody is listening to the show and they feel they've been victimized, reach out to us, because you do not need to sit there and be in shame or quiet when you're here to, blow the lid off that, because it's not right.
Mhm.
And thankfully, we live
What's
in
our
a
email address? You
world
wanna list it?
where still it's not okay to treat people like this, you know? Yes, we do. We have an
Yes.
email.
Tell us our email.
Why did they snap at gmail.com? And there's no question mark. It's just why did they snap at gmail.com. So yeah, reach out to us, you guys. Send us your questions or stories. Include your phone number if you like. You can, we'll loop you in on the show. You can be, we record it a week prior to our shows. So you can be anonymous or whatever. But yeah, reach out to us. That's what we're here for, is to help everybody tell their story, because there's way too much betrayal going on. And in 2026, we're gonna what are we gonna do? We're gonna blow the lid off that? We're gonna
In 2026, our goal is to tape one show a week that's 30 minutes. And during that show, we're going to pick one topic and we're going to talk about that. Or we'll have someone on who has sent in a question, and we'll either bring them on as an interview person or call them and set it up ahead of time where we can have a dialogue with them and answer their questions or help them through something. Because our, our job, Trina and I, we're here to help you to get through a betrayal, and everyone has them. Don't be afraid to reach out to us or ask us for help, because we are here to guide you through it. Because sometimes you just need a little bit of a machine behind you or someone to talk to. And then all the people that are listening to the show, it's going to be on Spotify, everywhere else, but it will also be on YouTube. And YouTube has a great comment section where you can start talking to each other. And listen, if you say anything negative, we're going to pull it off, because this is positive. We are going to treat each other with kindness and respect, and all the people who take the time to put themselves out there and share, we're
yeah.
going to give you the respect and kindness you deserve.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely. Yeah. And it reminds you of, we'll mention red flags as we see them come up, because as we go through these stories, when you read through, it's like, oop, red flag, oop, red flag. And so many of us are trusting. I think those of us that are empaths we see green flags everywhere we go, but it's time to pay attention
Describe
to
an
red.
empath. Tell everyone what is an empath in your words? And
Got-
what's an empath? Let's just describe it for everyone, because I love that word.
Yeah. Okay. An empath is a person who has an unusually strong ability to sense, absorb, and feel other people's emotions, often as those emotions are their own. And this isn't just being nice or caring, it's deep emotional attunement. Sometimes to the point of emotional overload, because sometimes empaths feel like they want to solve everybody's problem, They typically feel other people's emotions physically, like sometimes to the point where they get a tight chest or nausea, you know. They absorb emotional energy in rooms, like that energy. I know a lot of people that are very much, they'll say, "Oh, I didn't like the energy in that room." They can really sense it. Um, Sometimes they struggle with boundaries because other people's pain feels personal where it really doesn't need to be. Um, and you know what? They're deeply affected by injustice, cruelty, and suffering. And that is sort of like this exactly why we're on out here, because you and I hate injustice, cruelty, and suffering. It's time for that to end. And we'll be
I like
talking
those
about
words.
what causes people to snap and and make those bad decisions. And yeah, there's so much. There's just so much.
Injustice, cruelty, and suffering.
Yeah.
Can't
Oh,
stop the
and
injustice, can't stop the cruelty. We can stop the suffering.
you know what's really sad? Empaths often attract narcissists, covert manipulators, people in crisis, and emotionally dysregulated people. So it is really something
Yay!
to
to to be really watchful of, right?
Yes, yes, it is. We'll be talking about
And
that.
listen
So if
more than
you
we
yeah.
talk.
What?
I said, and listen more than we talk. We really have to understand. I interviewed a woman yesterday, and she's a very nice one, wonderful person. She's been married 3 times. First person she was married to was a year. And when I discovered what happened, she didn't know the guy. Second one, it was 6 months. She didn't know the guy. Third one, She didn't know the guy. And I'm going, do you see a pattern? And she was like, yeah. So we had a chat about that. You can't, and I hope women follow this and think to themselves, I can't get married to someone until I know them. But even if you, like, when you're younger, you're still pure. When you're 50 and going out there trying to date, everyone's got baggage they're hiding, and they're not going to share it with you. So you got to do the digging to find out, is this guy cheating? Is this guy worthy of a new relationship with me? Because I don't want to make the mistake because I'm an empath and I don't want to have that same person show up for me. I want to have what I'm looking for. And, if we're going to say this right now, I always tell people, write down what you want on a piece of paper. So when you go out, you got this in your pocket. You're like, I'm looking for a guy with dark hair. I'm looking for a guy with red hair. You'll find it. I'm looking for a guy who loves his mother, who was a good son, who wasn't divorced, his wife died. All those things can be on your list. But that's another story.
This might be our last and final episode because I think Laurie and I are going to start a dating service called empathsunite.com or something like that. Because no, seriously, that's all so true. That is so true.
And what's going to be so great about this show is that there's going to be stuff that comes out from someone you talked to last year that might not have anything to do with the topic, but they're these little golden nuggets at the end that if people stay, they're going to hear them. And if they don't stay, they're going to miss out. And all that comes from is because you, Trina, have a wealth of information and research you've got, and as do I. And these only come out when we're talking. They don't just come out in the beginning of the story. It comes out later. So
for sure.
That's why to watch till the end.
Yes. Everybody, please watch till the end.
And please, you guys, don't forget to subscribe to this. So when you subscribe, you have to hit the little bell icon if you're doing this on YouTube, because that way, when we have our new episode out, it'll come straight to your inbox and you can just look at it there. And we want you to follow us. We want you to share this with other people who might have been betrayed, because we want stories. This program will become successful because of the people watching it. The more you give us, the more we're going to give back to you, because we are here to help you through all of it.
Yeah, and we're here to shine a light on betrayal and what to do about it,
That's right. Can't wait to take that big spotlight and shine it, because it's not about revenge ever. It's just about feeling good that you made the right choice to do the right thing at the right time. And that's all we can do.
Exactly. Hey, and you know what? I'm glad you said that, because if you're a listener out there and you had an opportunity to make the wrong decision and you realize, I did the harder thing. I did the right thing. Please reach out to us. We want you to share your story, because people need to hear those stories. It would be amazing to turn on the news one day, and this is the deal, okay? If it bleeds, it leads. That's what we see on the news is always, all the horror stuff. And then at the end, there will be like that little segment for, a little happy thing. Everybody loves that little happy thing. You know what, Laurie? We're out here. Maybe we can flip it so that it's all the happy things, where we can hear all the times people had an opportunity to do the wrong thing. They did the right thing. And we want to applaud those people.
Nobody celebrates that. Yeah. Nobody's celebrating those things, and those are wins, and I love that.
Yeah.
So reach out to us at whydidtheysnap@gmail.com.
Yeah. And why you didn't snap. So, yeah.
Okay, so I said it right? Okay.
Yeah. Why did they snap? Yeah, at gmail.com.
Okay. So guys, thank you for watching our first episode. Trina and I are so excited to have you on our journey with us. We are going to shape and roll and mold this podcast or video segment or knowledge of betrayal and what to do about it over the course of time. And you're coming on this journey with us. And if this is the first one that you see out there, then stay with us, because we're going to be rolling. If you have a story, positive, negative, please send it to us at whydidtheysnap@gmail.com. We are waiting and ready and listening. And if we don't get a lot of emails right now, that's good. We have tons of material to talk about, and we're going to take you on a ride. But the best part about our show is we're going to tell you the yucky stuff. We're going to tell you the icky things that happen. And yet, by the end of our episode, we're going to talk about the positive things we do and what to do next, so you at home right now, no matter how you're feeling, you have hope, right?
Yes,
That's what
there's
we all
always
want.
hope. And listen to that good angel on your shoulder, always do the right thing. Do the right thing.
Yay, I like that.
And the right thing, you guys, don't forget, is joining us next week on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Pandora, wherever you get your podcasts. Like us, subscribe, share it with your friends, send us story ideas, and be a guest on our show. So that's the right thing, too. So help us make this world a better place. So thank you, Laurie.
Cool. Thank you, Trina.
Yeah, we're here to save the world one episode at a time. We are here. So we're united in this,
Here.
and we are here for you, our listeners, our viewers. We don't want you to ever feel alone, no matter what's gone on in your life. We're all in this together. We are.
Mhm.
So
You and I were betrayed to be here for everyone else.
that's right. That's right. So, all right. Thanks, you guys. Thanks for joining us today. Bye, Laurie.
Bye,
See you
Trina.
next week, you guys. The stories and events discussed in this podcast are for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered legal, medical, or professional advice. Any names, locations, or identifying details have been changed to protect privacy. Any similarities to actual persons, living or dead, or real events are purely coincidental. The information presented on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. Always consult with a qualified expert regarding any decisions related to your specific situation. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the podcast creators.